Rachelle. Welcome to our Silly Goose family. Today's a day that I have been looking forward to for months now. Today is the day that I'm going to start planting seeds in the ground, particularly, and possibly into some of the raised beds. I just wanted to make sure there was like plenty of time after our last frost that the ground was warm enough and whatnot. And I've mentioned before, we have a long growing season here in the upstate of South Carolina. We're in zone 8A. So as much as I do feel like I'm way behind with the garden compared to a lot of other people, either on YouTube or Facebook groups that I see and whatnot of people in our area, it's okay. This is gonna be fine. So I'm starting with beans. I'm gonna show you kind of how I've got things organized. So this is my list of beans. Now, I'm gonna say anything I show may not be completely accurate as far as like, oh, well, that should have technically fall under that family of plants or whatever. No, these are things we eat like beans. Beans. So anyway, I do have them as bush beans or pole beans. So I'm starting with our pole beans because I'm going to start planting in our front yard at the bases of the trellises that go over our sidewalk. So I have the list, and that's where I started from. And then I have, sorry, I should have had this ready. But I planned like where each thing is going to go. So each trellis, so these are all the little supports on the trellis, it has like which beans I'm going to plant, and I'm going to plant them on both sides of the trellis, like meaning so if it's the little like pole support of the trellis, right in the front and right in the back there'll be a seed. And for those of you who are interested, if you're not interested, I don't mind if you skip ahead. That's totally fine. These are the beans that I'm going to be planting to get us started on these trellises. So I have, it says lima bean. This is from Baker Creek Seeds. Alabama black-eyed butter bean. These just look like the black-eyed peas that we ate growing up. Oh, and I will say, I've got a lot of beans in particular for two reasons. One, we actually eat a fair amount of beans, and especially if I'm making soups or things like that, lots of dried beans. Our son Asher loves beans, and so the return on one bean seed isn't always like great from what I can tell. Like I can remember last year figuring out like if I wanted a can's worth of black beans, like that took a lot of I wasn't gonna get like 12 cans of black beans on one plant, if that makes sense. So I have to plant a lot of beans to actually get a substantial amount for us to be able to eat, and you know, throughout the year, to be able to dry and put in cans and whatnot. So that's part of it. But also, I just wanted to see what kind of beans grow really well here and that we really like, so that next year, I may not buy this large a variety of beans. I might buy half of them or something, or maybe not even have to buy them because we can save our own bean seeds, which I'll get to in a minute. All right, these, I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right. Blauhild, I'm not sure, but love that purple shell. Isn't that beautiful? Black beans are my son's favorite, and we eat a lot of black beans as well, just in general. These are the Cherokee Trail of Tears. This is a pole bean black bean, and I have at least one, maybe two bush bean varieties of black beans as well. And these lima bean Christmas pole, those are pretty too, huh? I have not actually had lima beans in quite a while, but we had a lot of, I don't know the full difference between them, but we had lima beans and butter beans a lot growing up. I grew up in the coastal area of South Carolina, and my great grandma had a garden in her backyard. So a lot of the beans I ate when I was a little girl came from her garden. And then just as I was older, I mean, my grandma was getting them either from the store or like local farmers, things like that. Cowpeas, this one is purple hull pink eye, and then this is also cowpea red ripper. Do I know what a cowpea is? No, not really. And then Good Mother Stallard. Did I pick a lot of beans because they were pretty? Yeah, I did. These are, I don't know if it's Mbombo, or if the M is silent, it's Bombo. If you know, I'd love to hear the pronunciation. I don't know if I'm getting all those M's in there. This picture doesn't do it justice based on what I saw online. Like the beans were like this beautiful green color. Again, bought them because they were pretty. Rattlesnake pole beans, like purple and green on the outside. Come on, like these are gonna be so pretty in the garden. And then scarlet runner beans. So you know what? All of those were Baker Creek seeds. That's where I first started looking at seeds, because I had ads and I bought their beautiful seed catalog. One of the companies I came across later was this company called Kids Seed Co. Please look them up. It's a family business. Of course, I've never grown their seeds, so I can't speak from like, oh, I know they're really successful. But the business model is really cool. It's this family. They grow their own plants and like save their seeds and whatnot. The kids are really involved in the business. Their pictures are super cute. They package, you know, all their stuff. But you can actually see here. So these are scarlet runner beans, and I'm so excited. I will probably make sure every one of these beans finds a place in the ground somewhere because they're so pretty. The beans themselves and the flowers, can you see? But here's what I was gonna say earlier. I didn't know until last year that the seed of a bean plant is the bean. So if you're just learning that, let me know in the comments so maybe I won't feel so like, oh. I've learned a lot about plants that I didn't know. I think I've mentioned before that I just often didn't think about like, oh, I could make that food item for myself instead of buying it already packaged and processed and whatnot. And I certainly didn't always think about like how vegetables grew and whatnot. Like what does a certain kind of plant look like? And so for me, like we're early in our gardening process. We have not like gotten to the point where we've cut out a lot of, you know, grocery store food and things like that. Maybe that'll happen. That would be great if we have a very successful garden and we're able to do that down the road. But for right now, like starting last year and into this year, so much of it for me is the wonder of being in the garden and seeing how things grow and, you know, what plants look like, what a seedling looks like. And then like these pea plants behind me, holy cow. Like being able to take that little, again, like the beans, the peas, same way. It's the pea, that's the seed. So putting those peas in the ground and watching them sprout and grow and now like climb an obelisk, like come on. And I'm so excited about pole beans. We didn't have a ton of success last year, in part because I didn't learn enough about when to harvest things and what that looked like and what to do. And we had a lot of bug issues as well. But watching pole beans, I remember looking at them and going, oh my goodness, this must be what inspired Jack the Beanstalk, right? Because I could watch these pole beans like wrapping around the poles of our trellises, and just, it amazed me. And like the simple worship that would happen as I worshiped God, our creator, watching bean plants grow. And that's what I wanted. I know that we're in a season where, you know, we're at home a good bit, and that's okay. And so having like this space in our yard where I can just come and be in awe of the Lord, like that was one of my main motivations for all of this. So, okay, I've rambled a long time now. I'm gonna get started and I'll share this with you as I go throughout the day. folks, these buckets of dirt kind of make me sad. Soil, excuse me, soil. Because guess where they're going? Those 4x4 beds that I already topped off because my dogs dug holes in them. Then they escaped and did it again. I really need this to be the last time I have to carry the, or roll, cart, whatever, buckets of soil to those beds. I need it to be done. Please. Okay, so I'm going to top those off, and then I'm going to look at my notes and see what seeds I have planned, at least for the trellises. I think I want to try to at least get that much done today. And I know you can't actually tell, but I did get all the beans planted at the bases of the trellises. So what I was trying to explain, I don't know if I explained it well or not, but like, for example, along here, each trellis has 10 vertical supports, or whatever they're called. These are cattle panels from Tractor Supply. So each side has 10. So that means I planted 20 beans, because I did one on like the front and one on the back of each vertical support, so that potentially, hopefully, each vertical support will have 2 bean plants like climbing up it, which means, let's see, that means I have, hang on buddy, I'm doing math. So if I've got 20 times 4, that's 80 times 2, 160 potential bean plants. If I did that math right, along down the sidewalk. And then, so I wanted to go ahead and get the bean plants in. Hang on one second, buddy. You may go over there if you have put the birds away. Okay, they can't stay in the tree. They need to be safe. Okay. So once the beans are established, then on each like outside part of the trellises. So that means, so each trellis has what I consider like 4 outside parts of the arches. Or wait, did I say each trellis has 2 outside parts? So we have 8 total on the sidewalk. Each of those, this may sound like overcrowding, but we'll call it intensive planting. Isn't that a thing? And it sounds purposeful. I'm going to put 2 tomato plants, so they kind of go up as well. You know, I kind of see it similar to like corn and beans and whatnot grow together. I'm just going to let them hang out together. I've seen where some people have done things like that, and they said that maybe their overall yield for each plant was a little lower, but also their overall yield was higher just in general because they planted more plants. So we'll see how it goes. Thankfully, this really didn't take too much. I put 2 buckets in this bed and 3 buckets in this bed, and then I still had 2 buckets on my cart. So I actually went over here to the pond area because I was curious. Like, I know the pond is green. We've got a lot of work to do over here, but our plan is to put some soil down in this area. So I was curious, like, just to start getting a feel for like how far does a bucket of soil go. So that's 2 5-gallon buckets of soil right there, and we'll be going all the way around the pond, all the way up to the rim of the pond. Is that a wackadoo approach to the pond? Yes it is. Is that still the approach we're taking? Also yes, it is the approach we're taking. Came across these holes. I don't even know what's happening here, guys. I'd love to say, oh look, someone started showing initiative and wanted to plant some things. I think we all know that is not what happened. I don't know if an animal, insect, or child did this. They're all like similar diameter and depth, so it kind of looks like someone went poke, poke, poke 8 times, right? Doesn't it? I don't know. Carry on. I'm gonna get my charts and get some seeds, and I would like to at least in these 6 4x4 beds get the seeds put in along the trellises. So unlike the front yard where I planted on both sides of the trellises because I was planting in the ground, I'll only be planting directly into the beds here. And I'm very much doing a square foot method back here. So it won't necessarily be like every vertical thing is getting a seed. I'm looking at it more, or at least trying to look at it as like how much space do they need. It's lots of melons and cucumbers and things like that going back here. So let me get those plans out and get going on that. Just in case you're curious, these are actually my plans for the 4x4 beds. What I did is, see, I have them numbered. Well, not the B is for backyard, and then T is for trellis and whatnot. But and then I have maps if I can get to them fast enough. But I can't remember if I showed you map. Map is probably a, oh yeah, like this. So it's just sort of the plan. There's one for the front yard and one for the backyard, and all the beds are numbered so that I can, well, numbered on here. I would like to actually add some numbers to the beds to see, but this just gives me an idea. I'm finding that having the plans makes planting faster, and it helps obviously when I go to plant. So right now what I'm going to be doing is the things that are going along here on each of the beds. So these are like 2 beds that are connected with a trellis, and so I have all of them. See, I've still got spaces, like a good many spaces that I can fill in, which is great. What I was doing last night is just going through my like list of plants and trying to make sure I had a spot for everything. And then once everything has been planted and I have gaps, I can go, okay, ooh, well, our favorites are these, and give those extra spaces. It's kind of what I'm thinking. These here, they're masonry trellises. I've never used these before. That's not actually what they're called. They're like, I think maybe 5 inches or so wide. And then long, so not nearly as bulky as a cattle panel trellis. So what I'm planning to do would be, so this is, you know, the perimeter of the bed. So a masonry trellis would go like from here over to here and support the plants under it. So, you know, we've got tomatillos and things like that that don't need huge like support like a cattle panel trellis. But there's things that, like, I might even do like determinate tomatoes in some of the spots and whatnot, instead of using tomato cages. So that's what I'm going to try. I've never used them before. I've seen them used a couple of different ways, and I'm excited to try that out and hopefully have some success in a slightly more affordable way than like if I had to put a tomato cage in every square. You know, a tomato cage is going to cost this either the same or more than one of these masonry trellises would cost. So essentially, you know, think of that as maybe like 4 times or more expensive as one of these trellises. So I think it's at least worth trying to see if that's strong enough to support them. You know, is one enough? This will be a good experience. Like, is one enough, or do I need to maybe put like 2 per like square foot row? So I'll be experimenting with that, and I'll keep you guys updated. I know not everyone on here is like really interested in like nitty-gritty gardening. I say a lot, I'm a novice. This is all new to me. I'm experimenting, but I like the idea of sharing with you what I'm doing, so that maybe, you know, if it's successful, it might be something you want to try too. I just finished planting along these trellises that are at our 4x4 beds, and that feels really good. It didn't actually take me as long as I thought it might take. I was able to do that a little quicker than the beans out front. And if you're thinking, Rachelle, that's a lot of melons, it's kind of like the beans. One, we do like melons. I mean, man, a juicy water like melon in the summer, any kind, like it's so hot here, melons are really refreshing. And so I know we like melons. I've got at least one kind of cantaloupe that I've got planted that just look like just traditional cantaloupe, at least traditional to us. And like, I know my brother-in-law, Tim, loves cantaloupe. Like, how fun will that be to be able to say, hey, look, here's a cantaloupe from our garden. I tried that last summer. It didn't work. Maybe this summer it will. Maybe this summer I'll be able to say, hey, here's a cantaloupe you can enjoy from our garden. Or like, I brought a watermelon to this family function. It grew in our garden. I just think that would be so fun. And a lot of the small, or a lot of the other melons are small, like the size of an apple type melons. So that's like a snack for a person, you know. It's not like I'm growing, you know, cookout size watermelons. It's on all of them. A lot of them are small. And a lot of it is just to try new things and see what we like and want to try again and whatnot. Sorry, the sun poked out from those clouds. So that's what a lot of it is. And with the melons, you know, if we don't particularly enjoy one, we've got chickens and ducks and now parakeets and even Toothless, our little bearded dragon. I say little, we have a little bearded dragon. We don't have a big one. Like, we can cut up little bits of melon, I think, for him too. Like, so like, we can use produce that maybe we don't enjoy. We can use it for animals as well. So I think it'll all work out and be just really fun, just experimenting and seeing what works, what we enjoy, what we don't. Joseph just got home and I thought it would be wise if I took a break. Sometimes I think we just need to acknowledge a break would be a good preventive measure. So I think I'm just gonna go for a drive for a minute. I'm gonna enjoy the air conditioning blasting on me until the sound of the air conditioning overstimulates me. Anyone else out there experience that? I am more likely to turn the air conditioning down because the sound is bothering me than because I'm cold. Much more likely. Anyway, so if you need a break, take one. Pardon my singing voice on this, but I went to a summer camp called Camp La Vida for years in the summer, and then I worked there a couple of summers. So to this day, I get camp songs in my head often. And so I'm curious who all knows this one. It's what's that, like a call and refrain or something like that, where like one person sings it and then everyone else repeats it. So, you know, I'll do my best here. He goes, well, up above my head, I hear singing in the air, I hear singing in the air. Well, up above my head, I hear singing in the air, I hear singing in the air. And I really do believe, there's a heaven somewhere, there's a heaven somewhere. The light turned green. But anyway, so the first verse is singing in the air, and then it's like laughing, shouting, clapping, snapping, basically whatever you want someone to do to keep the song going as long as you need it. So I'm curious who remembers that song either from Camp La Vida or knows it from somewhere else. You guys, I'm dying. Joseph's at home with the boys, you know, and he called me, he said, can I FaceTime you? I just finished the gate, I want to show it to you. Yeah, absolutely. So he shows it to me, and it looked great. I was like, wow, that's awesome. You should get a little video of that. Then he swung it on the hinges, and it just fell off, like, completely. He was like, that was not supposed to happen. Let me call you back. So funny. So funny. So these are a thing again. So Nathan, Alexander, Grayson, Michelle, Blake, Tatum, Michaela, Noah, Ethan, Miguel, Amber, and Brianna. And I saw a Richard and a Savannah too. You guys, you find a Rachelle, you send her to me. Okay? You send me one. Because the only place I've ever seen one was France. And now that I saw it online. Rachelle, find one. I'm teasing a little bit about the Cokes. But I'm telling you, like, every time they do those, I look for my name, as I'm sure many people do, and I never find it. I've seen Michelle and Rachel, and that's the closest. I did actually see a picture of a Rachelle Coke in, I believe it was France, because I think Rachelle is actually French. But anyway, I'm actually so delighted to see more diversity in the names that they do have, that whatever, it's fine they don't it's fine they don't have my name, really. Anyway, it's just something we kind of laugh about, that it's hard to find my name on anything. I don't have one of those little like personalized license plate that goes on my bike, or not that I have a bike, but I never had one of those keychains, you know, all kinds of stuff. So basically, if I ever find stuff that has my name on it, I'm going to buy it. Just a heads up for anyone with an Etsy shop. Just kidding. Please don't. Anyway, Joseph FaceTimed me while I was in the store, and he fixed the gate. So he's going to get a video of that for you guys. I'm really proud of him. Like, he did that. He researched, figured out the parts that he needed, and did that. So that's great. And he's going to put some wood under the gate as well, so that the dogs can't keep digging. Oh, goodness. So yeah, I might run one more errand or two. I might go home. I haven't decided. I'm gonna head in the direction of the potential errands and then decide.
I just wanted to show you this T-post gate I just installed using T-post hinges that I bought on Amazon. So let's take a look. So this is our gate. We got it from Tractor Supply, and I wanted to install it on T-posts, and so I had an extra one of these, drove it in the ground, and the key is this T-post hinge. It's a 2-pack set. I got it on Amazon. I bought a knockoff version because I'm not all about that. And basically it just it slides right on top, and this is the way you got to put it. But when you're done, it lets you have the gate installed on the posts, and it works pretty nicely. I have it dragging on this wood a little bit, probably just because that T-post is moving, which is probably just going to do that because it's a T-post. But then we will, secure it with this chain, and then I just put a board underneath it because the dogs were kind of already digging at the gate. So that'll hopefully keep the dogs out of the garden side of the yard.
Is this turkey or turkey 2?
I think this is turkey 1. She flew out of the box and basically hopped her way over here.
So sweet. You did a good job teaching her to love you. Aww. Okay, that's precious. Like, seriously. First, I just came home. I didn't run errands. That little break was good, and I just wanted to come home and be with my family. But I thought of something that I wanted to clarify. So in those 4x4 beds, I told you I was planting the things that go on the trellises, but I did plant some fairy tale eggplant. Just the clarification on that, those are not going to go up trellises, but I put them in the spots where I planted the yard-long pole beans, or yard-long green beans. Anyway, they're a pole-style bean, and they will climb right up the trellis. And so I felt like there was room to plant something else in that space as well. So I put the fairy tale eggplants there, and I just went ahead and did it since I was already in those squares. So anyway, I just wanted to clarify. I'm gonna close this video out. I want to go ahead and show you. I was so excited to see these. Look, these are, well, they're starting to flower. These are sugar bond peas. I think these are the ones that ended up being more like a bush style than a pole style. So that's okay. I'm excited to see what they do. And hey, they have the word sugar in them, so gosh, what did I want to say? I do this a lot, don't I? Where I had a plan of what I wanted to say, and then, I'm excited. We're supposed to get rain this week. So it's supposed to be in the 80s all week, and we're supposed to get rain multiple times. So my goal already was to get everything in the ground by the end of the week, unless it's stuff that I'm redoing, seedlings like tomatoes and things like that I'm going to wait and transplant once they're more established. But other than that, my goal is by Friday to have all seeds in the ground and whatnot. And I think it's going to be a really good week to get things going. So I'm excited about that. But thank you so much for your time again, for hanging out with us and going along this journey of life and gardening and parenting and all the things with us. We appreciate you. And remember, God made you in his image for a purpose, and you are so very loved. I'm going to tack a PS on this video because I remember what I wanted to share. Today wasn't a bad day. Today was one of those days where adults just go, seriously? You know, it's not bad. Circumstances happen in life, you know, they just do. So yesterday morning when I was sitting out in the backyard watching our church service, I looked kind of straight ahead out at our tree line, if you want to call it that. And I noticed there were a few trees that have nothing on them as far as like leaves or pine needles or anything like that. And I was like, I feel like at this point, based on the way all the other trees look, they should have something. I wonder if they're dead. So as I was outside today planting the beans, one of our neighbors, he was cutting his grass and he stopped and he said, "Hey, did you know you've got 3 dead trees?" And I went, "Oh," you know, like it was the same, you know, same trees I noticed yesterday. So after like talking with him, he was knowledgeable because they've had to have some trees cut down. We have not gone through that before. My husband and friends cut down low hanging branches at our old house, like 13, 14 years ago. But we haven't had any like big trees cut down professionally before. So I was talking with him about that and everything. And so he thinks what it is 3 pine trees. He thinks pine beetles got them. And there's one tree kind of in the midst of them that is still alive. And he just thinks like if they got those 3, it's really unlikely that they haven't gotten that one as well. And it's just a matter of time. Excuse me. So we probably should just go ahead and have all 4 taken down. And excuse me. Anyway, so you probably know that's expensive. Like that, we're talking like pretty big money at that point. So anyway, got the name of his guy. We'll call. And then you may recall that Saturday night, Saturday night, popped a tire on our van. So Joseph took it today in hopes of getting it patched or replacing that one tire. No, we got 4 new tires today. So it's one of those things like 2 big expenses and, you know, back to back. And so I just, I was just thinking about that. But anyway, I was just looking up at those trees and I was like, that's what I wanted to share. We try not to stress too much when things like that happen. We trust that God provides for our needs, and he always has and he always will. I think back to years ago, someone in a Bible study was talking about her minivan. I think they had to replace it or something. It was unexpected. And she said, well, if that's the way God wants to spend his money, okay. And that has really stuck with me. Like, well, got to get some trees cut down. If that's the way God wants to spend his money, okay. You know, that kind of mindset that everything we have comes from him. And, you know, if that's what we need to do right now, that's what we'll do. So, I thought there was something else I was going to say with that, but maybe not. So just, yeah. Thanks for tagging along for that PS.